I'm very affected by my father's moods,
Hmm.
um, that's kind of the aha moments have mostly been, oh gosh, I get his. It's almost like his world and other people's worlds are more important than mine.
And
So
has it always been that way? Have you always had that? Yeah, that's from the very beginning. Right, 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 right.
yeah, just this aha of, oh my goodness, this is all of my just sort of shutting down. I'm just really having these huge awarenesses around how much I've shut myself down over during my
Yes,
life and
yeah.
not been expressive and not been myself. And it's
Isn't it
and then,
interesting, that that's what you teach, that's what you stand for, and it's the total 180 degrees polar opposite of I remember our last session, you were crying and you were saying, "Gee, I feel like I can't be heard and I can't be seen," and this whole pattern. Now you're stepping out of it, and at the end, you were saying, I remember this too, it's okay for me to be heard, even with my warts and my shame and my blame and my anger and my pain and my joy all together as one. Like you're stepping out of that old play. It's almost as though it's a form of blind loyalty to your dad that you felt this is how I can get attention when you were younger. bec- I give him and others around me, even Parkinson's, more time and attention than I deserve. And so now we're turning it all around. What self-talk are you entertaining with all of those thoughts I just shared?
oh well, what's going on is that it's like, yeah, and just, well, for me, what I've seen is it's true since we last talked, and it's sort of a slow process, not a low, but a slow process into reclaiming myself, or just like acknowledging that I have worth, and that all my wisdom gathering, and it's sort of, I feel like I've been gestating in that, and it's almost like I'm believing my own self-worth more, and and so
Let's
and
practice that with the statement, saying it after me and feeling it in your body at the same time. Who I am is worthy,
who I am is worthy. Hmm.
and what I say has value.
And what I say has value.
I
Yeah,
express myself with ease, grace, and flow.
I express myself with ease, grace, and flow,
With everything I think, say, and do.
with everything I think, say, and do.
When you say that, it's not just words. What happens in your body? What feelings come up in your chest, your heart, your eyes? What are the counter thoughts that are there at the same time that we're still dealing with?
Yeah, just the smallness. I mean, like even my voice, I can hear it shake, like it's a little through my voice. I'm seeing the whole paradigm of not not super clear, a little clogged, a little bit restrained, a little bit not believing that if I speak up, that will be heard. And and if I am heard, it will be discarded, or it will not be appreciated.
That's the old story. That's what happened with your dad,
Right,
right? For
so
over and
that's
over.
sort
And
of like really, it's sort of like that, almost like phlegm or something releasing, coming, uh, yeah, clearing out. That's how it's almost like that.
yeah, and if you were to speak to the phlegm in the throat and have a dialogue and conversation with it, and the tightness in the throat and the feeling of gulping down rather than speaking out, let's hear the dialogue and see how you can shift the dialogue from up to now, I've allowed you to push me back, that feeling of being clogged feels like a stopper on a bottle, and I think it's something like this, and my new relationship, this is that renegotiation of contract that we did at one time in one session. What I need from you is to add this, delete this, change this, and in exchange, I will speak up no matter what is going on. It doesn't matter. And matter of fact, being perfectly imperfect and feeling all the sensations in my nose now and my throat now and the phlegm, the tightness, the roughness in the throat. It's okay. This is what I help everyone else with. I'm perfectly imperfect the way I am, and this is okay. Hear your version of that and to where you can go with that.
Mhm. Well, my phlegm seems to be, releasing because it's ready to go. That's how it feels, and it's almost like what I'm hearing it say is like, "I'm just tired of being stuck here," and so I get to give it permission to move through. That just feels like that's the sense of there's, the after the release, there's just so much more freedom, and so up until now, I've let that even just having the stuckness in my throat and my stuckness in there, it's okay to let it out even if it's a little shaky. It's what it feels like. It's like it's okay now to let it be in the in between stages. It feels like whenever I teach, I always remind people that people have to go through this awkward stage of learning. So I am in awkward stage with you right now, my
Yeah,
voice,
yeah.
and it's
And
a new.
now let's address the awkward stage directly as though it had, which it does, a consciousness saying, awkward stage, here's the renewed relationship I'm ready to have with you, and see what comes up in dialogue so the awkward stage can speak back and go, yeah, I'm tired of being put down. I'm just as valid as you feeling joyous and uh, exuberant.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
conversation. Let's see how you go down that line.
So my awkward stage, I know that you're not, you're willing to be available to change, and I just want you to know that I'm seeing you, and it's okay to feel the way you feel. And I also know that I'm a lot more confident now, so you can trust me to take you through to the next level of consciousness because I'm not going to leave you, and you don't have to get bigger just to feel like you're trying to fit in to what I want you to do. I want you to have your own experience, and so the awkward stage is saying, "Hey, thanks for listening, and thanks for appreciating. Just that it's just going to take more repetition and practice, and just I just know that I need more encouragement from you, so I don't get stuck again. It's an ongoing contract. It feels like."
Let the tears come. You can feel the shaking in the voice and the gravelness and the sound, and that's it. Yeah, just breathing into that. Yeah, let the tears come and let that feeling of that pent up grief and frustration and sadness of not feeling heard all these years, pleasing everybody else and leaving yourself last. And the tears now, if the tears had a voice, what would they say? In a wisdom voice, what would the wisdom of the tears now be?
My tears are just saying that we're always here for you, and we're a sign of your growth. We're a sign of you being willing to be so vulnerable that you can grow, and it's a beautiful thing. It's we help soften you because you don't have to
Yes.
pretend everything's okay when it's not easy right now for you, especially. And
And if we were to say something to you, Leslie, that we, as your tears, your compassion, your depth of feeling and love for all beings, and tremendous understanding of how others have been shut down and shamed and blamed and hurt. Here is something that we now can speak up to that we've never spoken up to before, starting with that conversation, see what comes.
so what we can speak up about is that you really matter, and that the belief that you don't matter just is just so not true. And it's okay to not know what you're supposed to be doing exactly, but just to live in this place of curiosity is the key with that sense of openness.
Yes. Yeah. And we are part of the bridge for you to connect with that openness within yourself and sharing your warmth, your wisdom, your wit with others as well. We are to be acknowledged even more. As you acknowledge other people's pain, we can also feel accepted as you accept yourself more. You no longer need to please others in order to feel that you're worthy. Let's hear your version of those words. It's good the tears keep coming. Just let them flow. This is
Oh,
beautiful.
you're you're worthy just uh, because you're alive, and the idea is that if you can just stay present, that's where all the gifts are, and the gratitude and this desire of the it seems like the ongoing desire to not really be present with yourself is the key to unwind. And the
Say
mystery of
more?
that,
Yeah.
well, the mystery of that is actually the key, and letting it exist, being okay, being in the present, and not knowing exactly what is to be done is actually one of your superpowers. Like, it's actually that's the artist in you that can create still. So it's your creative flow that gets to come through with if these voices of judgment can not be so hard all the time.
And moving into, that's good, the expression of I am the spirit of not needing to know, not having to know, not having to figure things out, not having to look good. I am that spirit. And here are some things that I am now ready to voice that I've never voiced before. Your
Mhm.
version of that?
I am the spirit and I am your voice, and it is all it's all interconnected, and just be encouraged that with every move you make and with every breath you're actually living into that wonderment of yourself. So I'm just wanting you to know that I see you and that you're very much on track. You're you're doing what you need to be doing. And there no doesn't need to be the wrongness of you. There is just only what is unfolding in front of you.
And now let's hear you respond to that because you're being spoken to by a wise, spirited,
Mhm.
the need to not have to know. How do you respond to that in appreciation and gratitude, in thankfulness and acknowledgement?
Yeah, thank you for seeing that in me and allowing me to open into that, because that's not my norm. Is sort of like you are my subconscious mind that's with me all the time, and I would love to remember this more clearly because it seems to escape me, and I get stuck in the minutia of house cleaning and chores and dance teaching rather than it being a way of my foundation, rather
One
than
way that I'm ready, willing to remember this, particularly when I forget and get busy doing chores and teaching classes and focusing externally, is here's some strategies that now I'm ready to put into place that I haven't before, both in my thinking, speaking, as well as my actions. Go ahead.
mm,
Yeah, doing great, Leslie.
my I feel like uh, some of the actions I can take are to just, I mean, oddly enough, just stop more and take in the moment and actually look at what's right in front of me and appreciate it and have a gratitude practice for myself for staying in the now. And so I would imagine that would just be even just stopping for 3 breaths and of appreciation for each body, mind, spirit, and taking mostly just literally stopping to to take it all in and confer with you rather than anybody else. Just think the more that I can not refer outside to, other than with my own senses. I want to refer to my own senses to remind myself to be in my present moment more. That can look a lot of different ways, but mostly in each observation, taking enough time to savor the moments.
Mm. Let's practice that now with your eyes either closed, half open, or any combination in the environment you're in, taking
Mm,
3 breaths and then saying, "Oh, I noticed that," or "I'm grateful that." So we can actually put this gratitude practice into practice, and so it becomes something you're more familiar with anything in your environment or anything in your body. We'll do 3 breaths, 3 full, beautiful breaths all the way in, all the way through, picturing waters falling as you exhale long, sunrise lifting as you inhale strong, more connected where you truly, fully belong. And now, after the 3 breaths, giving a statement of gratitude. That's something you've noticed. You're seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, smelling, touching.
I'm being so grateful for this beauty of the sunlight on my scarves coming through the beautiful windows that I get to have every day.
Mm.
Just
And
a piece of art.
it gives me peace of mind as you say it. Your eyes become smiley and soft and contented. Your mouth also lifts up with a feeling of being pleased that you're noticing this. And if the sunlight now were to speak to you in acknowledgement of, hey, thanks for seeing me. I'm here every day. And I like being seen by you. The more you see me, the more you see you. And I see you. You can see you better through my light. Your version of that.
Mhm. Well, I'm so glad that you're seeing me because I see you too, and you're so beautiful just as you are. With every observation, you become more beautiful. So, thanks for seeing me shine, and then I'm purely a reflection of you and your own light. If you can spot it, you got it.
Beautiful. Feel how good that feels in your body. What gets awakened into the sensations and locations in your body with this dialogue? And we'll go to different objects and things around the room now too, including the tears. The tears keep having expressions. I'll give them a voice as well. How a voice of wisdom, what you're awakening to and remembering right now. Go ahead.
Well, my tears have the remembering of, they're all just like gratitude tears. They've shifted from sad tears to gratitude tears, and so the
Mm,
gratitude is saying, this is your you deserve to have me. It's like a lover or something like that.
it is a lover. Yeah. Yeah.
Like my tears are adoring me.
Mm. And now imagining yourself doing a gratitude tears dance within yourself because it's something I can see that you would be teaching to and offering to people with Parkinson's and others who are full of tears but don't express their pain and they get more crotchety and rigid and feel going down a downward spiral. So this could actually be one of your processes for yourself that you're embodying as a part of your own everyday practice. Gratitude tear dance. Um, you know, uh, GTD, or however you also know, good tears dance, you know. And here they go, you know, you turn it into a song. Let me hear it as a song. We are your gratitude tears dance. And as you feel us, your feeling of worthiness enhance, you know, something like that, your version.
Mm. You're full of gratitude, so are we. We're gratitude in multiplicity. Your gratitude comes through in all that you do. Move it through. Boop boopy doo. Woo!
Good. You see how that absolutely like going through a skid takes you from fear, uncertainty, frustration to the act of putting the words into song now brings you into a place of nurturing, empowering, inspiring energies. And now, if you were to move your body, even while sitting here with me and letting the tears continue to sing and speak and dance, let's see you speaking and moving at the same time, adding the element that you love so much of movement.
We'll have to stand up for that.
Sure. Okay.
Hard, hard to do it while seated.
That's good. I can see you.
It's like this undulating gratitude
Mm.
moving through with gratitude, seeing it all from inside of you, coming out, being strong, no need to worry. Everyone's gonna love you just the way you are.
Starting with me, I set myself free.
Set myself free, just to be. I set myself free just to be. Mhm, mhm.
Allowing myself to explore the unknown, life's mystery.
Rocking it like a baby. Nowhere to go. Just feel it, let it go.
And with this beat and this rhythm that I dance right now, I allow new wisdoms and visions to arise somehow. Keep going.
Yes.
Yes, my yes comes through, no longer having to hesitate with what I think, say, and do. What was that like for you doing that little 2, 3 minutes of movement practice? It's possibly a little different because you're combining words, song with the movement and the tears. What was the benefit of that just now?
Um, um, well, the integration, that's how it felt, was it was more fully integrating the movement, like giving the movement meaning. Because I've done
Yes.
a little bit of that, but to have a whole phraseology coming through is profound for me.
To combine the words with the movement, with the
Yes. So,
sadness, with the emotion. Yeah. What's
yeah.
new about that for you?
Well, when I have, for example, I can show you my little sheet.
Mhm.
I have this is my morning dance
Put my
routine,
glasses
and it,
on. Just a second. My
and
glasses.
so
Just
I
tell me
do
what's on there. Describe that to
it
me. Yeah.
says amazing spirit. So I have movements that go each with each one of these things. So
Mm.
do it in that order. Amazing spirit, loving heart, joy, sparkle goddess, and deserving. So those are my.
Mm.
So I do that every morning, and I say it out loud, and I move. I have specific moves that I
Mhm.
do to remind
Uh-huh.
myself. Um, but it's very simple. This is to me, this is what we just did was quite complex,
Right, we've
relative.
added the element of what's more complex about it?
Well, the emotion, but it's also, like the truth saying, I guess, in full
Speaking the
sentence.
truth while you're speaking and singing and moving
Yeah, and then the spontaneity of the words, not having
as they come
script
through.
work. Yeah,
Yeah,
because that's what I've gotten used to is like, okay, these are the words, and that's what I've done with my people with Parkinson's for so long, saying what they're doing as they do it,
mhm.
rather than it being an evolution in process.
Let's do this then. Let's take your practice and expand on it so you're able to totally transform your practice and your relationship to how you work with people in Parkinson's. So starting with the same exact exercise that you do every morning. You've been doing this for how long?
Probably about 6 months.
Okay. And what we're going to do is transform it by allowing that last exercise to start to filter in. First, just start with the way you ordinarily do it. And then, of course, I'm going to give you feedback, give you things to say, and noticing what you're doing. So we augment that practice to something far more, I wouldn't say call it complex, but far more dynamic and um, dependent. So you find more ways of connecting with parts of you that you couldn't because you were doing something repetitively. Now we go beyond the repetition, including the repetition, and find the spaces in between, the beginnings and endings of movements, of sounds, of words. Go
Hmm.
ahead. Let's see how we can now take your practice to a whole new level.
Amazing spirit. Amazing spirit, come to me as I come to you. So I just usually say amazing spirit. So now
Yeah, that's right. I could see that. Yep.
as I as you come to me, I come to you and we meet together in our realm like that is like no other. And we're together in harmony as we create this day and feel our feelings as we move and groove in all new ways today. So that's
You want to keep
amazing
going?
spirit. And then loving heart, loving heart, loving heart to all beings in all places in all spaces. Loving heart. This is where I move from in every movement and in every moment, in every breath. I move from my heart, from my loving heart, and I shoot the love out. And as I shoot it out, it returns to me. My loving heart leads the way. We are together right away. As long as I'm breathing into my heart and letting my heart inform my way.
Beautiful. Moving on to the next expression.
So joy, joy, joy in all directions comes through me, comes to me. Joy comes from above, joy comes from below, comes from the sides, and in all diagonal directions, in all dimensions and shapes and forms, and it informs my delight as I move in all ways through this day. Joy, loving heart, joy, and then we have sparkle goddess.
Okay. Sparkles with the fingers, just looking like sparkles in every direction, and allowing movements to come that are not just the familiar movements, but movements you haven't made before. Because I noticed a lot of the movements are repetitive. We want to do things you've never done before now as well, including those in this dance, in this nuance of nuance.
With my fingers and toes and limbs and molecules are sparkling in all directions, in all ways. Sparkling like on the water, sparkling water, sparkling windows, sparkling stardust, sparkling in all directions, sparkling eyes, sparkling voice, sparkling heart. All of it is sparkling in all ways.
Mhm.
Mhm. And just
Beautiful. Now, in that practice that we've just added different elements, what's different about what you just did that you haven't allowed before? Because we're basically expanding horizontally, vertically, inwardly, in all dimensions and all levels of your being and your body, the ways that you've been on repeat, repeating patterns that are useful, yet by just doing the same over and over, it keeps you in a place of still being in a box. So how is this helping you to break free in a way that gives you that deep, beautiful, gorgeous feeling of fulfillment as you fuel yourself with the lungs filling with air and inspiration, and more life force and body fluids flowing through your beingness. What are you experiencing now physically? That's an aha. Oh my goodness, I can keep adding to this and with my work with others as well. Let's hear that conversation from you.
well, yeah, it feels much more expansive and free to not be limited and to just take off from one idea and and allowing giving myself the freedom of choice and expansion rather than it being so structured, which is exactly true. I've felt so limited by the structure in which I teach. So,
Exactly.
so
Imprisoned by your own creations, by having
yeah.
them become repetitive and focusing on the form rather than the feeling. Now you're focusing more on the feeling. Let's hear
Mhm.
your from now on I in my own inner practice. And here's what I'm ready to activate that I've not allowed till just this moment here in this process today. Let's hear it.
From now on, I allow for my own feelings to flow through as I articulate different words and ways of moving and letting those come through in all new ways that I've never imagined. And yet, no judgment. It's all open space for creative play. It's not, it doesn't have to be limited to short amount of time or short amount of whatever I've done before up until now. So now I can expand into this play and it feels like it's my poet in me can come alive and my writer can also expand from my voice, which I've really never done before. Spontaneous expression with my voice.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now we're going to go through all of those four different expressions and have you dialogue with them about here's my way, speaking and singing and poetry of now connecting with you. Up to now, I've only been moving in this way, and now I'm moving in this way too. What I'm discovering in this dance is, so allowing yourself with now just one at a time to dialogue with rather than repeating the old form as though you're in a conversation while you're moving, speaking, singing, and doing poetry. One of these at a time. We'll do one of these at a time. Go ahead. Exactly.
Amazing. Hearing it, it's just it was like it's like a whole paragraph in there. Just saying, there's lots going on here. Amazing spirit is in all directions. It feels more like a tree now. It's grounded. And so we have a new connection around the definition of spirit and amazing, what amazing is. And we don't have to do anything we don't want to do because everything's allowed. So with the concept of amazing spirit is not only though it doesn't go to all corners of the earth, but I can also shift the molecular patterns of things as I open to new possibilities that come through and have that awareness.
Continuing now with the same expressions, adding poetry and song and letting yourself make movement that you haven't made with this particular word. And that absolutely new, territory for you to map as you sing, as you speak in poetry, as you find different ways of different staccato rhythms, different flowing rhythms, all the elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether, in the expression with this relationship renewed with spirit. Go ahead. There
Can
you
I just
go.
choose one? Amazing spirit, amazing spirit, amazing spirit. This is the way we go to work. It's in a whole new way. We don't have to do it anyway. We can do it as we choose. I'm not finding the poetry in this, but that's okay. See, to me, like the singing thing is that's really hard for me.
That's good. That's good. But you started it. And the whole idea of I don't have to sound good. I don't have to look good. I just have to be. And as I put my words into song, I don't have to think about where I belong. And maybe do it with some rhyme, and you'll find that the poetry, when you do it in a rhythm that has that kind of cadence, the wisdom comes out even more easily. The rhyme doesn't have to be in the song that makes any sense. It can be off key, who cares? But you started off laughing, and I love this. You feel how your whole spirit's coming alive through this exercise. It's so good. But continue with the spirit and move on to the next one, allowing song and different ways of moving, thinking, speaking, rhythms, focusing on rhythm this time and rhyme.
Rhythm and rhyme. Amazing spirit, amazing spirit. Here we go. Let's go faster. Amazing spirit, amazing spirit. That's how we go. We just go, make sure we don't go in all the same directions all the time. Keep moving in spirals, in squares, in shapes that are unfamiliar. That's what we're up to. Okay, I've had enough.
Beautiful. Okay, let's move on to the next one. After spirit is what? What's the next one?
Loving heart.
Okay, and in ways you've never expressed it before, you're in a dialogue, you're dancing, singing, poetry, rhyming, saying things that guggle up your consciousness, blah, 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 doing things that are absolutely ridiculous, movements that you've always wanted to make. Loving heart, you're on stage.
Loving heart, loving heart, loving heart. I am a big heart. We are together. When we're moving, we are loving. When we are loving, we are moving. There is no other way to make the shape of a heart. You are a heart. You are a heart. You are a heart. And you shoot it out with your love. Love. Loving, 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 loving heart. You never know when she's coming through. Hooty, hooty, hoo. Get it. Go. Ho.
Cool. Cool. So this is great. You see how you're awakening nuances of nuances by this combination of speaking, singing, and dancing and rhyming. Something is freeing up in you. Feel that smile on your face, the shaking free. Good. And we have a couple more, right? There's joy. What are the other ones?
Joy,
Yep. Yep.
joy, joy, joy. Joy is a person. Joy is a place. Joy is a reason to make your space. Joy is everywhere, just like the other one. We're going from here to there and pulling it all in, and the same amount in goes out, in and out, out to in. This is going like an elevator, not like an elevator talk. So much more fun than anything else. And dancing is my joy. So shoot the joy out in every move that you make. Jazz hands, joyous jazz hands. Go. Yes. Amazing. You're amazing, joyous dancer.
Gorgeous. And is there one more? There's one more, isn't there?
Yeah, sparkle goddess.
Yep.
You are
A new
divine.
way of expressing Sparkle Goddess that includes the repetition, yet goes way beyond it. utilizing everything in your physical body that has wanted to express that's been holding back until now. Ready, go.
Sparkle goddess is alive. Every moment you breathe, every morsel that you eat, you are it is going to be sparkled through. We sparkle everything like a bedazzler. We bedazzle through your sparkle. Everybody gets drawn to you with your sparkle. Musician eyes and ears and other instruments bring in the sparkle. You least expect the sparkle. It comes through with any kind of movement and moment of true, centered, balanced movement and expression. There is no
Beautiful.
end to sparkle.
Excellent. Now come closer to the camera. Come sit down again, and we'll continue from where we are now in the sitting. Feel how your smile and your whole body is smiling. Your whole being is smiling now, and the feeling of contentment. And now the tears of pain have now turned into an expression of gratitude throughout your whole physicality. What what have you learned from this exercise that you're now ready to put into practice ongoingly that takes you from repeat to something absolutely beyond what you've allowed before?
Mm. Ah, that it's all inside of me, and I just have to let it out. That's be very clear in this moment that it's all that repressed shit is just it's a good way to let it out and to just trust that my wisdom is within and that I can procure it at a moment's notice without planning. That's the to me that's the life lesson is this spontaneous living in the moment of like we started with talking about how that would be a desired outcome of living here now rather than begrudging things or thinking they should be different or yeah.
Mm. And now envisioning, along with your practice for yourself, how this will augment your relationship to guiding the people who you work with in aged homes and Parkinson's and others who are your clients to places they've never been before. What now has this awakened in your ability to share now that you're doing it for yourself, this practice with others?
Well, I always remember it more if I teach it to others. This I know about myself.
Interesting.
And
Mhm,
so
mhm.
um, I would imagine by doing it one step at a time, I can almost I can imagine even procuring like a little way to help them reach into it since it was so uncomfortable for me.
Let's do an
I can
example. Pick a particular client, give them a different name so you don't have to, obviously, I don't know who they are anyway, and say, okay, as though we're in a sound bite with you in an upcoming moment with the person you're thinking about right now over and over, and seeing how you now start a conversation and a practice that you haven't allowed before, calling them by name. Today, we're going to, starting with that.
All right, so today, because you're really wanting to move more freely in your body, we're gonna put some words into your body before we move. And then I want you to embody that, and then we're gonna move from there. We're not gonna do all the same movements we've done before. I want it to be more of an inspired movement. So you're gonna feel a little bit awkward, which is totally fine. But this is just a new little way of exploring um, your body so that we can allow your emotions to come through.
Beautiful. And then have them in gratitude and acknowledgement. I heard what you said, or heard you say this to me, and I've been wanting to do something different. I'm tired of the same old motions, but I'd never said that. There's so much that I've been percolating with, and I've been thinking so much about my past and my relationship with so and so that I'm no longer with. Now this gives me a chance to voice them and not just do a physical I'm just playing. But let's see your version of that, what you actually envision them saying. It's probably similar to that, I imagine.
Yeah, that would be idyllic, really. Yeah,
But
I've wanted to really express myself, more, and, it's awkward, in relationship, and yes, now that I've broken up with my girlfriend, I just really I want another means of expressing who I really am, and so this seems great because it seems safe, and it seems, I won't have to do it, um, it's just gonna make my dancing seem even more fun because that will be behind the dancing rather than the steps always leading the way. I can let my heart lead the way, like how I cry with certain songs and certain ahas that I have around you.
how beautiful. Now, reviewing what we've been sharing this session, it's been very experiential this time. We've been taking the tears and your words and giving them expression because you are an expressor. And I had a feeling today, let's utilize as many multisensory connectivities for you to awaken, again, nuances of nuances in your dances, in your thinking, your speaking, even allowing your voice to be in singing places without having to make it sound like it means anything or even sound good. And from that, you're freeing your spontaneity. So what are the takeaways for you and what have benefited you the most from our time together today?
Well, I feel like yeah, that's the main thing. I mean, I've always been really hard on myself for using my voice, like not liking my singing voice. So that's a huge um, uh, hurdle for me to be able to overcome that in front of you too. Is so I feel like it's the key to creating a lot more freedom within my body and within my expression. So that's I mean, it's really a big deal because and
Mm,
also just
let's hear
allow
your, yeah,
well it's like my creativity lies within that and to not have to have it just be through movement to let the expression come through my words and through my voice and it not necessarily always having to be coherent or performance grade. Nobody has to see it, just me. And just it I guess for me the big takeaway is like my big desire that I'm really wanting is to just be more in myself and yet expressed, not just be at ease within me, but to also like the missing pieces are the ones that are coming out. That's how it feels.
beautiful. From now on,
From now on, I express myself with song and voice and a sense of self-empowered freedom of
and how
expression
this
and
affects my inner world and my outer world is,
how it affects my inner world is that I'm always it can come out at any time. That it's all allowed at all times, even at times when I haven't moved in the past. So it's all becomes a dance and what it shows up like on the outside world is receiving a lot more interest in the actual work that I'm doing in this way because it's very unique and it's going to be individualized for everybody else too. And they
mm,
too find their own self-expression. The
beautiful.
more,
Now we
the
look
more,
at what you will have put into motion and practice between now and our next session, looking backwards, saying, oh, in the last, whether it's 3 weeks or a month, however long it is, since our last session, which is today, this is what I actually did with myself and others that I never allowed before. Let's hear it that in the future passé, so you're able to practice this guided visualization as though what you're now setting in motion, your from now on eyes have already happened, specific thoughts, words, actions, songs, interactions. Go ahead. In the last since our session, these are the things
Okay.
in the last few weeks that I've been actually practicing. Go ahead.
So in the last few weeks, I've really begun to embody it at all times of my day, so that when it comes to teaching these new ways of feeling and speaking and being free, they're getting imbued into others really easily because it's such a joyous practice for me because it's like whole new me coming alive. And so my desire to share it has just been off the charts because it doesn't require a certain modality, but the modality is getting developed as with each new interaction I'm having with myself and with others. And the more free I become, the more free I can tell whoever I'm with, working with, is experiencing the same. So I've easily begun to discern what what else needs to happen in these sessions with these people because it will free them up, and I'll be able to see this. I can see more closely how they're getting stuck in certain aspects of their expression.
How beautiful. And the sensations and locations in your body that are now activated through our practice in this last hour, what are you feeling now as well, physically?
I feel like I am whole. I feel like my whole body is wants to come alive and participate and uh, whole bodied expression rather than it feeling cut off. Just my voice
Mm,
or just this or just not it's like unstructured structure.
mhm. And the physical sensations of that is there tingling in the fingers, sweat in the palms, fullness in the breathing, fluidity in the movements. What physically are the tangible, physical, immeasurable signs that you can always anchor and remember, as well as that beautiful expression of your
Mm.
understanding from a more thoughtful point of view. Now, in the physical point of view, what is it? Ah, this is what I physically am feeling that's different. I'll
What
always
I'm
remember.
physically feeling is more almost like the kundalini energy, like almost all the
Mm,
time, like a circular sense
mm,
of
mm.
the energy flowing through and enlivening me. So that's always the measure for me, uh, of my own true aliveness. And so I'm super in tune with that now, and that sometimes almost orgasmic kind of energy coming through, as well as the sort of post orgasmic feeling is they're both alive and well at different times.
Yes. Yep. I was observing you throughout the session, and sometimes when you were expressing some of those different words that you're used to doing, at one point you were shaking, and there was that kind of orgasmic, full-bodied shaking free of your
Mhm.
wisdom, the truths that were buried. Watch how this also ignites and augments your ability to do some writing. I encourage you to, between now and our next time that we meet, to do some creative writing about some of your insights and just sit on the blank page and just maybe a little bit, not just every day, but just when you're inspired, sit out under a tree or after you have a glass of water, something that gives you that feeling of fulfillment and, oh, I feel like making a sketch. And maybe you can even take those words that you put and turn those words, joy and spirit and those other ones, and turn that into a painting of something you've never painted before. Because I saw that before you had them all separate. Watch how you put them together in an interconnected way that also will speak to your unconscious in your heart.
Mhm.
This is beautiful. So
Mhm.
lovely working with you, Leslie. I'm so appreciating you receiving me and receiving you and going each time. It's a different angle and perspective of connecting. It's very fulfilling for me to have this experience of you receiving this so beautifully.